favorite thing from convention that was just launched, because I would love to see that too. I'm sure everyone else would. So I'm Rachel. I'm a platinum leader, and I get the honor to introduce you guys to 8 other amazing platinum and diamond leaders that are going to be sharing with you guys tonight about enrolling, our experiences with enrolling. So we have an assortment of leadership here. Some people have grown in person, others online, others both, vendor events, all different ways. And so we're really excited to kind of share with you, and hopefully you can find yourself in some of our stories. We're going to be talking enrolling, creating momentum, and how to find business builders. So I am going to go ahead and kick it off. We are just going to motor on through, get your notebooks out. If your girlfriends or your guy friends are not on this call, click through and see. I would highly recommend getting them on now. After this call, we are going to have 15 minutes of a Q&A. So we'll try and answer as you ask, but we will also, there will be an opportunity at the end for you to ask any question that you want. So if you would like to stay on and hang out for an extra 15 minutes, that will be available to you. So I'm going to go ahead and kick it off to the amazing Hillary Felton, who's going to be sharing with us and kicking us off.
Hey guys, I'm Hillary Belton. I'm a platinum with Young Living. We're timed, so I have to be brief. So I'm not going to introduce myself completely, but you can find me on Instagram at Hillary's Harmony. But anyways, I am talking about being yourself. This is like I'm like so passionate about this topic because it's a topic that I feel like is kind of forgotten for a lot of people, especially when you're starting out. And it's something that honestly is going to be a huge benefit for you at any moment in your business. And it's something that you're always going to have to come back to and refine that confidence in yourself and who you are. I remember when I first started, I've been in this business a little over 4 years. I remember that everybody that was highlighted was this like unicorn story. It was like someone who got to diamond in like less than 2 years. And that's like all I heard about. And those were the people that really only spoke for like everything. And so I would follow these people and I would look at them and I would study them, and comparison would creep in. And I felt like I had to be them. And if I didn't get to a certain point by a certain time, or if my feed didn't look like them, or if I didn't have this certain look, that I wasn't going to be successful. And I'm a photographer, and I remember coming across this girl's Instagram all the time and how her feed looked so perfect. Like all her pictures were done with like an actual camera, and my feed was not like that. Like it was just my daily life. Like I was a photographer and I didn't pour anything into my personal Instagram account. So it was just like junky photos here and there. And I remember I was like enrolling well, I was growing fast. And I remember seeing this one girl and being like, wow, her stuff is so perfect. Like maybe I should try doing that. So I would try so hard to like basically emulate and almost copy like the way that she was doing things. And I noticed that my enrollments dropped, my energy dropped, and even my engagement dropped. Like it was like, it just wasn't me. And I figured that out really quick, that I was like, you know what? I am 100% a done is better than perfect person. If you look at my feed, I would rather get stuff out there that's like about me and something that I'm super passionate about than something that looks perfectly curated or maybe resembles someone who's like one of those unicorn builders. So I want you guys to be really, really careful about who you compare yourself to, because you have to remember that your people, whether that's your people in your community online, or people that are following you, or people that know you personally, or people that are already in your team, they don't care about anybody else. They don't know the people that you're comparing to exist. Like those unicorns, that's not important to them. And if you don't believe in yourself and have the confidence in yourself to be yourself and grow your business like completely authentic to who you are, your team is not going to believe that either, and they will not be able to do that. So you have to do that not only for yourself, but for your team too. Because if you don't believe that you can truly be yourself and grow this business, your team is not going to be able to believe that, and you're not going to be able to help them find that belief either. Another thing is there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of noise. Social media is busy, and it's a place that's wonderful for community and communication, but it's also a big hindrance with comparison. So if you are coming across these profiles of people that look like they're killing it, it may not be because they have this large following. It may be because they're owning who they are, and that's what's working for them. And so it's really important to remember that you have your special things too about you, and there's no one else like you. And if that means showing up like for example, I show up like this all the time. That's just who I am. Anyone who follows me knows that, like, rarely am I done up. And people are shocked when they see me done up. It's almost insulting. But that's how I show up, because if I waited every day to show up until I looked perfectly put together and I had my crap together and I had perfectly curated everything, I would never show up. Everything would get in my way. So I decided a long time ago that I'm going to show up as myself. Like, sometimes that's curated, sometimes it's not. Sometimes I'm put together, most of the time I'm not. And you just have to own who you are and cancel out any noise that's telling you differently. Because you're, like I said, whoever you may compare yourself to, or whatever noise is canceling out who you are and all the great things about you and all the things that you're capable of, your people don't know those people exist. Your people aren't comparing you to those people. You are comparing yourself to those people. So it's so important to really, really hone into your strengths and recognize your weaknesses and find that belief about yourself that you're totally capable doing this business just as you are. Like, you do not have to change. You don't have to be a unicorn. Your timeline doesn't matter. Your journey is your own. And like I said, I'm just so passionate about this topic because it's so easy to see the unicorns recognized, and they're amazing, and they've worked so hard for what they have. But that's not the majority, and maybe you're not the majority, and or maybe you are the majority, and that's not your journey and your story. But you have a lot to offer your people, and people connect to people who are authentic, and your people are going to connect to you because of the fact that you don't give a crap how you look when you get on Instagram, or people are going to care about you because you're super funny and they connect with you, or people are going to care about you because you work really hard with doing something that you're super good at, like you're such a good crocheter or whatever it is. People connect with you. Your Young Living business is just a branch off of you. So people cannot connect with you unless you're being totally authentic in yourself and you believe in yourself. And that, like I said, is going to trickle 100% down into your team. And when I know that when I believe this about myself and when I speak this life over my team, they believe it too. So yeah, just really important to believe in yourself, and don't downplay that. That's going to be way more worth it than a lot of other things that you're going to learn in this business and any other IPA.
That was awesome, Hillary. So good. Really good. Okay, Kame.
All right, everybody. I'm Kame, and I'm a platinum from Vancouver, Canada. And just like Hillary said, we don't have to be perfect. So now that you know you don't have to be perfect, you can then go out to be good. So many times we stop ourselves from even starting and even giving a chance ourselves to be good because we want to be that perfect, right? But I have 2 suggestions for you, especially if you're building a business, is that you use these 2 oils, okay? Cedarwood and Valor. Cedarwood is for those people like me. I'm a huge introvert. I've learned to be an extrovert, but after I talk to people, I have to go like face a wall for like 2 hours, right? And but a lot of times it's because I have the feeling of, oh, I don't know enough, or I forget what I'm trying to say. When you use cedarwood, because it's got the highest aspartapenes, is very oxygenating, and it will help you with memory retention and memory recall. So you want to use this. If you have that, pull that out, put that on your like pineal gland or at the top of your head, and then valor for all the bravery and for all the can-do attitude. Okay, so I am going to be talking to you about 7 steps to sharing your compelling story. And again, this is especially if you are introverted or if you're first starting out, or you just want to give your people like a nice, clean way to share your story. It is not a script. Guys, we're sharing your story. You do not need a script. However, some of us do a lot better if we have little guidance here and there. Okay, so that's where I'm coming from. The first thing you want to tell people is your name. Show your face, talk about yourself. You don't want to make yourself the hero of your story, but they want to know who they're hearing from. So tell them who you are, tell them where you came from. So many times we go straight into the problem and we don't really introduce ourselves, like, you know, tell them your mom or a sister or girlfriend, whatever it is. And then the next step is sharing your life before Young Living. You want to imagine this is like the movie. You're going to set up this stage, tell the backstory. All right, so you want to talk about how your life was before Young Living, so that when you go into the third step of who told you, who entered your life and told you about Young Living, there's a little bit of a, oh, what's going to happen next? Okay, now for those of you who are trying to write down the little steps, don't worry, I have a little graphic that you can take a snapshot after, right? So you would tell people about yourself first, and then secondly, your life before Young Living, and then third, who came into your life and introduced you to Young Living, and then number 4, what you experienced once you started Young Living. Product experience is crucial. So you want to tell your story, and more importantly, you want to get product into people's hands so that they can have that product experience, okay? Once you tried that product, what changed? And then here's the hope. We are hope sellers, guys, not just oil dealers. We are hope sellers. What has changed, and then what will change? Because of Young Living, what will change? And then number 7, you give them the call to action. So here it is, my story. I'm going to share with you my screen, and I'll tell you my my story, and you can see. Let me see. It doesn't want me to share my screen here. Sorry about that. I thought I could share. Rachel, did you make me a co-host? Yes.
I did. Oh, sorry. It's me that would have to make you the co-host.
Okay.
What is your username on here?
K Smith.
There it is. Okay.
Okay.
Doing it.
All right.
Oh yeah, you are. You've been a co-host, so I don't know.
Let me see why it's not letting me share. I'm just, again, the graphic is just for people who are visual. Oh, here it goes. There it goes. Can you see my graphic?
Yeah.
Okay. So again, the 7 steps, and I'm going to just quickly share my story, and you can see if how I walk through it, and then you can craft your compelling story around this, okay? So my name is Kamei. I'm a mom to Emily and Cameron, and I'm married to Rob for 25 years this year. I used to work as a social worker, and I also worked in a pub as a manager. So what my life looked like was I would leave the house at 6 o'clock, drop my kids off at daycare, work all day, pick them up, and then I would be home around 6 o'clock and then start making dinner. I would bring my son up for soccer, come home at 9 o'clock and crash. And you know what? When I crashed, he started having his night terrors. And how many of you have had night terrors before, or had your kids at night terrors? What it sounds like is different for everybody, but for us, it was twice a night. He would scream and cry. He would not know where he was. He would jabber all kinds of nonsense. He would grind his teeth so much that it would break. And this became our new normal for 4.5 years. For 4.5 years, twice a night, my son screamed and cried. My doctor told us there was nothing she could do for him after trying everything. And she started telling us that she had to treat us, the parents, for anxiety. And it really affected our life, so much so that we could not sleep in the same room because one of us had to be with him every single night, because we found that if we broke him out of the nighttime terror within a few minutes, the episode would be much, much shorter versus 20 minutes to an hour. So for 4.5 years, that became our new normal. We didn't know what else we could do. We just thought this is going to be it for the rest of our life. Like we tried everything and nothing worked. One day I saw my friend Monique post on Facebook and she said, I had the best sleep ever. And I said, hold up, Monique doesn't sleep, because I know that because at 2 o'clock in the morning when I'm dealing with my son and I'm de-stressing, she's posting that she's awake. So I contacted her and she said, girl, you need to get yourself these oils. And I said, from where? Walmart, Target? She goes, no, just get them from Young Living, just like at Amazon. And you know what? Because I knew her and I trusted her, I bought them sight unseen. I didn't know what these oils were. I wasn't interested in the other 10 oils. I just wanted the peace and calming and the lavender and the valor. I put them on that night on my son. I didn't tell him what it was. For the first time in 4.5 years, he did not wake up. He didn't cry. He didn't gnash his teeth. I actually thought that I killed him because he slept that solid. Like I overdosed him probably. The next morning, and he was 9 at the time. The next morning he said, Mom, what was that? And I said, son, that was just some oils. And before I could say anything else, he said, whatever it is, Mom, I want it. And I told him from then on, I always have peace and calming lavender and valor in my house because it really changed our lives. He used to have 2 night terrors every single day. And for the next 3 months, he had 7 total. He got our lives back. I could go back and sleep in my bedroom. My daughter could have friends over again. And I'm very happy to say it's been 7 years since his last night terror. So when I say Young Living is life-changing, it truly is. So then I looked at the rest of my kit and I said, well, what's this? Frankincense and purification, I might as well try it. And I had been suffering from headaches for 20 years and I put on frankincense. And I'm not saying that frankincense stopped my headaches, but it helped me take the edge off a little bit. And then I started buying Thieves Cleaner and doing all the ditch and switch. And I am no longer on any kind of medication. I no longer suffer any kind of migraines. What it has done for us is not just changed our products for cleaner, helped us sleep better, helped my daughter with her sinuses, helped me with my migraines. I am now full-time working at Young Living and I have brought my husband home as well. So we are together as a family 24/7. Well, my husband and I are, my kids try and leave us as often as they can. But we now have time freedom and also financial freedom and the ability to craft a life that we want to live. And that is what we want to do, is we want to help other people find that if they want to do, if they want to find cleaner products, that's what we want to do. And the amazing thing is we have the ability to do that now, partnering with Young Living. So if you are looking for something for just to get a little bit better or to help something that's a little bit deeper or just to want to make your house smell nice, then Young Living is the way to go. So that's my story. See if you got through the 7 steps. I'm sorry that I cry. I always cry because it's so deep. I'm so grateful. And yeah, I hope this helped. And that is how you tell your compelling story, guys. Sorry that I cried. Thank you. I think Elise is next.
Thank you, Kame. Can you just switch the screen back?
Was amazing.
That was so good.
That was so good. Like I don't want to go after her. That was so amazing. And I'm so happy you cried. You know, when I tell my why, I cried too, because it's about my son and that's the good shit. So I'm all about it. I'm going to talk to you guys about enrolling and creating momentum. I'm going to switch gears a little bit and get more like, I don't know. I'm not going to make you cry. Unfortunately, because that was amazing. Okay, so first and foremost, I wanted to start by telling you that we create our reality by the level of belief that we have. And I've been like doing a lot of self-development and I keep hearing belief over and over and over. And it's just like such a highlight in 2021. So we create our reality by the belief that we have. And in turn, the level of belief that we transfer to our team creates their belief. So we have to believe in ourselves in order for our team to believe in themselves. And the action of your team is determined by the action of the leader. So I'm going to get into some enrolling stuff right now. If you set the belief that you're going to enroll one person a month, which is great, it's so awesome to just consistently enroll somebody a month. But you're going to be setting the belief for your team that they're going to enroll one person a month. And statistically, your team typically does about 20 to 30% of what you do as a leader. So basically what I'm trying to say is you need to set the bar higher for yourself. If you set the belief that you're going to enroll 5 a month, then you set the belief that your team is going to enroll 5. And if you do 5, then your engaged team will likely do about 1 or 2 a month. And then your real goal-getters will do about 4 to 5. So you have to kind of set that bar higher for yourself in order for your team to kind of follow suit. And if you're not constantly talking about ways people can get into Young Living, I mean, most of our team right now is doing the business on social media. Just with the climate of the world, like we're just heavy on social media. It's the way to reach people right now. So a lot of stories and reels. I'm Greater Good Co on Instagram. So I'm just trying to show my face every single day and talk about ways people can kind of get in. And that is going to be different as time goes on and things change, but we're still living in the moment. So we're talking about starter kits. We're talking about maybe basic kit, adding products based on what people's needs are. You have to be talking about it if you want to reach people and you want to enroll. And when you're doing that, your team is seeing it, and then your team does it. And you need to constantly be telling your team that that's important as well. So I think if you're like in a enrolling slump, kind of look at yourself and see like, what is my goal? Like, do I set the bar at 1 a month, at 2 a month, or am I setting it at 5, reaching it, and people are seeing that? Because it really is a trickle down effect. I do really quick, there was a challenge back last year. It was enrolling 20 people in 30 days. And I accepted the challenge. I was like, this is crazy, but I'm going to do it. And I did it. I ended up doing like 23 in 30 days. It was wild and crazy. But every single day I got on there like it was like, well, I got a 53 ml bottle of Royal Hawaiian Sandalwood for doing it. And it's my favorite oil. So it was the motivator. But I got on there every day as if I was going to get like a $5,000 bonus check. And I talked about the starter kit and I did incentives. And I'm not saying you have to do incentives, but it does sweeten the pot a little bit. Just make it appealing. Like Hillary said, be yourself. People are buying into you more than they're buying into Young Living in the beginning. So you need to show up as yourself, be relatable, and then your team feels comfortable to do so too. And I want to try to keep it short and sweet because I know a lot of people have a lot of other fabulous things, but those are the points I wanted to talk to you tonight about enrolling and creating momentum.
That was so good. Elise, did you say a 53? How many mils of?
I'll get it.
You go get that and show us.
53. It's 53 ml. It's huge, and it was that and an Aria, and I was like, okay, I'm in. It was right after the Dream 1000.
Hawaii. Yeah. That's incredible. Congrats. You guys, we need her to do a whole Zoom call on how she did that.
I wish I wrote it down too. Now it's kind of a blur.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know how I did that. Okay, so hi friends, I am Ashley and I'm going to talk to you next. I love this group of girls. They're the best. They help you really level up. So, okay, I've been doing Young Living for 7.5 years and still plugging away toward diamond, sitting at platinum. You guys, I never thought it would take me this long to get where I wanted to go, but can I tell you, because, you know, I heard all the unicorn stories too, promise. And I was like, that's me, dude. I can be a unicorn, and I'm not. So hi. But I want to say the whole thing, you guys, like the whole journey is worth it. No matter how freaking long it takes you to get where you thought you would be, the whole journey is worth just taking and being on for the ride. Okay. So, okay. I want you guys to put in, I'm talking about business builders. I'm going to talk, well, they're called brand partners now. So I'm going to talk to you about attracting brand partners and how we do this. And so I would love if you've got, you know, your, let me start my timer. Okay. I would love if you have your little notebook to write down what are some really good qualities that you're like, dude, if I could find a brand partner or 14 that have these qualities, this is what they are. Write them down. Also, you need to put them in the chat too, because we need to be able to see them. We need to get some inspiration because we're going to work with this list in just a minute. So put your list in this chat. Just give me a few words like what kind of qualities does it take to get to diamond? Or what kind of qualities does it take to get to silver? What kind of qualities does it take to sell your first kit? You know, like, what does that take? It's like independent, positive, you guys. Yes, this is good. Loves YL, consistent, fun. I got to bring this chat to the front. I'm going to give you guys like 20 more seconds to just pile it in because this is going to inspire all of us. Okay. Vulnerable, authentic, open-minded, resilient, belief, caring, brave. Yes, I love these. Okay, so keep going. Just because I'm going to keep talking doesn't mean you need to stop. Okay, so you guys, we have to know what we're looking for in order to attract what we're looking for, right? We've got to know where we're going in order to get there. You know, that whole thing, if you aim at nothing, you'll hit it every time or whatever that is. Okay, so keep those piling in. Yes, building that list. Okay, have you ever said, oh man, I really resonate with what that person says or with their style. Like I resonate with that. Has anybody ever used that term before? I resonate with him. That sounds intense, but you know, like I resonate with that person or their tactics. You guys know what resonance is, right? Like, you know, that whole thing with the vibe attracts your tribe. Resonance is vibration. Okay. So if you resonate with somebody, that is whatever your vibration is, listen, I'm going to say vibe a lot of times in my little talk. If you guys take a drink of Ningxia every time I say it, you might get drunk. That's just what might happen. But whatever that vibration is that you are resonating with in somebody else, that's your resonance. Like resonance is recognizing something in someone that's the same as what's in you. Okay. It's recognition. So literally their vibrations, like this resonance is vibrations made by the body. Okay. And somebody else's vibes that they're putting out too. You're identifying with them. So you want to resonate with people that have these qualities that you guys are putting down in the chat, right? Okay. So you're getting what I'm saying? You attract people that are like you. If you want to attract the kind of people that you're putting in this chat right here, you're going to need to be that person. Okay. So your vibe attracts your tribe. That's such a silly little thing to say, but it's like very true. I know that you guys, if you've been in the business for more than 3 minutes, you can think of a pocket of people that you're like, they have such a good vibe in your team, right? Like, oh, like everybody, you know, in that team is just like, they're just so good. And then you can think of a few people in your life that you're like, woo, it's rough over there. Okay. And it's because the vibe attracts like people. Okay. So if you're putting out that poverty idea where it's like, I just didn't have enough to like, I don't have enough. There's just not enough of money or time or resources or whatever. If you're putting that out, that's the people you're going to get. Right. If you're putting out a timid vibe where you're like, I love this business, but I don't want to talk about it too much because it's a little scary and I'm afraid what people are going to think, right? Timidity. If you're putting out, you know, we've got people put out a drama vibe and it's going to invite the drama people. Disbelief in Young Living, disbelief in the network marketing, you know, strategy or in, you know, the model. If you're not a team player or if you've got like a pocket of people that aren't team players, that's what they're attracting. Okay. If you've put out the vibe that you don't use the product, you're going to attract those kind of people, or maybe attract no one because you don't use the product. If you just don't talk about the business ever, even though you love it, like that's the kind of people you're going to get. Whatever you're doing, that's what you attract. Okay. So my story in the very beginning, I was like, I love these oils, best thing in my life, changing all the tears stories, just like we had. Oh my gosh, that was the best story ever about your son. So I used my oils, but I was real like weird and timid about the business. I thought network marketing was yucky, which a lot of us started out thinking. And so I never talked about it. I didn't really own it. And it wasn't like my story, right? I think that I attracted a lot of people like that were like, I like diehard oil lovers, which you guys, we need, okay? That's like 90-something% of what our OGV is going to be. We have to love those people. We have to be so grateful for those people. Our oil users are our loves, right? But if you want to get some business people up in here, then you are going to need to put forth some business vibes. Can you imagine, like, I hate this term, but some boss babe coming to your Instagram or wherever you share most frequently and watching what you do? Is she going to sign? Like, is she going to go with you? Like, are you putting out, this business is legit. I believe in this. This is changing my life. Like, you got to put that out there in order to get her, because she wants that person who's putting out that good vibe, right? Okay, so at first I wasn't attracting those kind of people. I was attracting really great people, but they just weren't totally into the business. So once I had a switch in that, it got a lot better. Okay, so let's go back to the chat, and you guys might need to scroll up, okay, to get to the list. I want you to take like 2 or 3. I'm going to hurry up. I want you to take like 2 or 3 of these words, and I want you to write them down. Ones that you're like, oh man, that was a good one. You know, like, ooh, that was good. Words that resonate with you, okay? Write it down.
Hello. Hey, I'm on a walk with Bo.
Here, we're gonna mute all. Okay, words that you're like, oh yeah, I need that on my team. Like, that's what I want, or that's the
Hello,
lead
you
that
hear me?
I wanna be. You know, you need to write that down. What you're gonna do
Hello.
is you're gonna get all your high vibe oils. Okay, so really good oils for this are rose. Idaho blue spruce is a really good one. Northern Lights black spruce is a really good one. Get your high vibe oils. I love transformation, you guys. If you've got valor, grab that. And you are going to make an affirmation out of whatever these words are. So what are some of the words? Let's see. Vulnerable. Okay. So you are going to make an affirmation that's like, I am a vulnerable leader, or I share my life with vulnerability. Because we're not going to be like, I need a vulnerable leader. That's not what we need to put out there. Okay, that's a need vibe instead of like an I am. Okay, so you're going to make whatever words that you're like, this is the one I love, make that into an affirmation, use your high vibe oil, say it to yourself 100 times a day, and become that person. You could even set an alarm on your phone that like sends you that affirmation to yourself multiple times a day. I've been doing that. Okay, I think that's all my time. My time is up. And now we're going to hear from Lisa. I think you're going to talk about belief, right, Lisa?
Yes, you guys, this call is so amazing. I don't know about you guys, and honestly, it doesn't matter where you're at, if you're just like first dipping your toe in this business or you've been doing it for 6-7 years. Like, I still feel like that freshman in high school that like looks at all the seniors and is just like in awe. Like, I just like the energy on this call is amazing. And you guys, it doesn't matter how many classes you teach or how often you show up on social media, like I still get nervous and I do it anyways. So I just want you guys to know that like, it's okay to be nervous and just like overcome that nervousness and be like, I'm just gonna do it. Because once you start, you get excited and it's fun and we all love each other here. So it's all good stuff. So I love that we all like picked different categories tonight, and yet we're all coming back to this like idea of belief. And it's the one that I picked because the power of belief is huge, you guys. And every level that you have in this business, you're gonna have to work on your brain and retrain it. And it's gonna be awesome and terrifying and wonderful and crazy and just like all the emotions, and I'm here for it. So just like knowing that going in, like some people talked about like unicorns and stuff, like knowing it going in that like it's hard, but I can do hard. Like you can all do hard. Like we're all capable of doing hard. So it's amazing. So I grabbed my Believe oil because we're doing belief, right? So grab an oil near you. If you don't have an oil, I'm slapping you on the wrist right now. Shame on you for not having an oil on a business call. But put your oil on after this. Because we're gonna put on our oils, you guys, because the whole point of like getting these stories that Kame talked about and having this belief is like strengthening our belief and our belief in the products that we have and being able to be these amazing hope slingers. So whenever I have felt stuck in my business, you guys, it's often because I'm like doing the things and then I'm not actually using the products myself. I haven't had any like fresh stories to tell to get me back in my place of belief and excitement. So make sure to put on your oil And you guys, I always say to greet our oils, I like to put my oil in my non-dominant hand, say hello. And then this beauty, if you go off of anything from the emotional release book, which I am all about, my team knows that I talk all about releasing emotions and how powerful it is to say the things. But when we put the oils on, it's like next level goodness. Okay, so it's actually going to help change our DNA and stuck emotions that we had to now be able to break through those beliefs, the negative beliefs, even better. So it's like right under your chest for Believe oil, which is like your third chakra area. So it's like knowing who you are. And the affirmation connected with this oil, you guys, is I am true to myself. So we've been talking a lot about like authenticity and like owning who you are and like all that beauty and being able to attract people because you are your authentic self. So I love that. So just like take a breath. I like to do the scent tent. So amazing to get all those molecules up into our brain. We do not breathe enough, deeply enough. So always remember to take a breath, especially before you hit play on your stories or you hit play on a class or any of those things. Put your oils on first. I love Valor. I love Believe. There's so many good ones. Okay, so I actually took some of this stuff from Kristen Boss. So I love her podcast. I know all the leaders in here love her podcast. She's helped shift a lot of our beliefs after just going through a hard year and like having to do different pivots and whatnot. She has just spoken life into us. So a lot of what I'm going to say is from her and then a little bit of what I believe too. So I want you guys to throw in the chat because it's so good to like interact and like see that other people are going through struggles too. Like you're not alone. Like there's something so beautiful about knowing that like we all go through stuff. Like that is just like a given in our world, in life. And so I want you guys to all say something that you have struggled with in your business or struggled like in any sort of belief. And then I also want you to say, so it's two parts, tell me a struggle and then also tell me something that you're good at. Because I don't ever want to just like stay in the negative. We want to also focus on our strengths and something positive because it's so good to see what we're already good at and then grow in some weaknesses and overcome some things too. So hang on, let me just open my chat back up again. Okay, cool. And I'll glance back at those in just a minute, but I'm just going to throw out some truths here real quick. So something that I say to my team all the time, especially when they throw out doubts and whatnot, is if you believe you can, or you believe you can't, you are right. And I'm just gonna let you guys sit on that for a minute because that is the foundation of belief. If we hear ourselves saying something like, oh, I just don't know if I can do that, then you can't. It's like so simple and so profound. So if it's something that you truly are like, that's not my strength, I'm not doing that, I'm going this way, that's fine, that's a different thing. But if it's you saying, I just can't seem to attract business builders, well, you've just like spoken something out and your brain is listening, right? So we have to then say, like that's an interesting thought. So I want you guys to think like our brain is like always protecting us, right? So like it doesn't differentiate from jumping off a cliff or getting out of our comfort zone. So we want to like be aware of that and then be curious about it. So instead of going into that like shame spiral of like, oh, I'm so bad at that. Oh, I can't do that. I can't seem to do that. She can seem to do that so much better than me. And we just go, and then we get nothing accomplished. We want to focus on like, what is my brain telling me? And is that actually true? And more often than not, it's not because our brain is trying to keep us in that comfort zone. So we have to retrain our brains. And the beautiful part is our brains are so retrainable. It's amazing. And then also you guys do not stay stuck in your spot alone. Reach out to a trusted friend that you can say, hey, I'm legit struggling with this. I'm trying to replace it with truths, but I just need like a sister right now to help speak truth into me. Like, do not suffer alone. That is a huge part. Okay, you guys, these are so cool. So look over there and see your sisters and maybe brothers. I'm not sure if there's boys on this call, men on this call, but see that other people go through this stuff. You guys, it's amazing to see that we're not alone and that we can overcome that. I guarantee you all the leaders on this call have gone through so much struggle and they've overcome it. And that is the name of the game, like just knowing that we are capable of overcoming it. So I had all these notes and then I just like kind of wung it. And let me see if I'm done on time. I think I am. I will just say, speak life and write out those affirmations. Like I think it was Ashley that just said that too. I love the emotional release book with oils, you guys, it's so powerful. You can find me on Instagram at Intuitive Sisterhood. And then I also created this really cool graphic that my team has just like loved and we always come back to whenever we get stuck. And I just like teach classes on it all the time. I think it might be on my website. I will pop it in there as the next person's talking, if you guys want the graphic, and I'll just send it over to you. But thanks for letting me talk. I'm so excited to hear the rest of everybody. Thank you, friends.
Hello. Surprise, you all thought you were going to hear from one of my very favorite people, Colette, tonight, but then she lost her voice. So I'm tapping in to be her person. And honestly, the irony of me tapping in for her, you're going to find out. Okay, so I want to talk to you guys about networking and like having community where you're at, building in person. Sorry. This is super, super, super crazy that we have not really been able to do this for the past year. Also, I tend to talk really fast, so I'm really sorry. If you have questions, you can for sure throw them in the chat box and I will definitely come back and answer them. But I have a lot of information I want to get to you guys and I want to be respectful of your time. So I want to talk about 5 things tonight really quick. Just going to run right through them. Also, I have my red pants on, and if you're on my team, you know what that means. So I'm about to be a little bold, really sorry, but it's happening. Okay. So the first thing I want to say is that all of you know someone. And I think because social media has become sometimes, not always, sometimes an easy way out because we don't have to then make connections in person. Like a lot of us are like, I'll just build on social media. I'll just build on social media. And it's like, you forget that there's this big giant untapped market of all the people around you in your day-to-day life that you could be blessing with oils. So my task for you while I talk, I want you to comment, post whatever in the chat. I want you to write the last time you enrolled someone in person, where did you meet them? I want you to write it in the chat box because I think so many times we get to this point where people are like, I don't know how to meet people. And I'm like, do you have a mailman? Like, come on, we all see people every day. So this is super important. If you are not meeting people, you're doing yourself, your builders, and your team and a huge disservice. Colette and I started this business at the exact same time. We've hit every single rank together, and both of us were platinum within 3 years. And most of that, I would probably say 70% of that was built in person, and we lived 10 minutes down the road from each other. We are cross-line. We are not, I mean, we're both under the same diamond who enrolled us, but we are not on the same team. So I think a lot of people are like, oh, well, there's already people building in my area. Like there's like, guys, Colette and I are a testament to this. There could be a diamond next door to you and you still could build to diamond. It is not, that's just not true. I'm just going to like rebuke that in the name of the enemy right now. Sorry. So here's the deal. What are you doing day to day and what can you add day to day? This is not like a exhaust yourself kind of situation, doing everything under the sun and like talking to every single person you meet everywhere all the time. You're exhausted. You haven't even taken a nap in days. This is, where are you intentionally spending your time? Where are you making relationships? We're not just going to like go up to random people in Target for 4 days straight and be like, do you need oils? Do you need oils? Do you need oils? No, what we're going to do is we're going to frequent the same places and we're going to pick 2 or 3 spots to invest ourselves and grow community there. Is this a gym for you? Do you still work a day job? I do not. I'm a stay-at-home mom. So that, you know, I'm not working a 9 to 5 where I could like be plugging oils in there and getting those people there. I frequent the same exact coffee shop 3 to 4 times a week. I'm super regular. I've enrolled all the baristas, or my team has enrolled all the baristas. And there is so much value in going to the same place over and over and being someone that people enjoy seeing. Like you walk through the door and they're like, we know her order. Oh my gosh, what are you trying today? Whatnot. So start frequenting the same places, even if it's Starbucks or your kids' daycare, instead of, you know, like, I don't know, bring the daycare provider, like something, be like, hey, thanks for taking care of my kid. I don't know. But start frequenting the places you like to be, because there's nothing worse than being like, well, I have to, you know, get some oils into people's hands. I guess I'll go, I don't know, somewhere. But like, do you love going to the gym? Like, are you one of those people who feels so much better when you exercise every day? Great. Start going to the same class the same times so that you are with the same people. Like, are you with that early morning crew? Are you making connections at lunchtime? Like, meet the same people every day. You're gradually going to like create conversation, create relationships. Those things are going to grow you. And the bonus of planting where you're at, like social media is great. It has its place, but we have got to remember how valuable it is to build community in person. No one was a better example of this than when my diamond enrolled me in Colette and just like threw herself into creating community where we were at. Our South Florida team was massive. And then all of us being military wives within the same year transferred out. And then every single one of us got to start over in that way, still having the support and the encouragement from the people we had built a business with in South Florida. So Colette moved to Charleston, I moved to Raleigh, and both of us decided we're going to get really connected to our local communities. We did it different ways. I joined a church. I got super involved, and I just really, like, I hosted a million things. And these were not elaborate, crazy, wild things. This was like 4 people in my house making bath salts in our pajamas because our kids finally went to bed. But the bonus of having community where you're at, you always have someone to work with. If you need to just like go brainstorm with someone and get coffee, you have someone there. If you run out of Ningxia and you have no local community, what are you going to do? Guys, what are you going to do? This is so, I'm sorry I'm being dramatic, but like I have run out of Ningxia in the communities where I had someone to give me a bottle. Colette, thank you for the hookup, until my shipment was there. And then I was running out of Ningxia and I had no one around me. And I was like, I'm not going to make it. So get out of your house and do things you really like. Frequent the same parks with your kids, go to the same gym at the same time, all the things, and just do the work, guys, to build community. It's going to pay you back. You know, you want to like be in your kitchen when you hit silver, gold, platinum, and diamond with all of the people who like were there alongside you. You know what I mean? Like that is so cool to me that when we hit silver and gold when we were in South Florida, I mean, we had all these people who like literally were there to throw a party with us and celebrate. And it was just so fun to celebrate each other and just really latch onto those cross-line friendships and grow each other and have that community always in our back pocket. So there's just so much value in both. And I think we have to decide to do one thing or grow one way, or like, this is what I'm really good at. I'll just only do this. And I think just the value of community in our life outside of work is so big, and we just forget because we're in, you know, a world that's so online and so in our houses. Like there's no reason we have to go. You know, our parents used to open the door when anyone knocked. Like how many of you duck behind your stuff because you're like, I cannot talk to the Amazon guy today. I just can't. I don't have the energy. It's like, guys, talk to the Amazon guy. The last thing I want to say is, if you don't have a car, which hello, been there, and you don't have disposable money to build a business, hello, I've been there, and you just have no idea how to build, and you have babies and you can't even leave your house. Let's say you can't leave your house. Guys, meet your neighbors. There is so much value in knowing your neighbors and being able to ask for sugar or whatever. And the best way to do that is to gift them goodies. And I'm going to show you my neighborhood thing real quick, and then I'll be done with this. So when we moved to North Carolina, we built a home after we rented for a little bit. Our neighborhood is brand new. So literally there's like 20 homes, they're still building it. And so my husband and I created a Facebook page for the neighborhood. So if you don't have one, make one. And if you have one, get really involved. The second thing you're going to do, which praise God, Colette told me to do this, is you're going to plan a porch Prosecco night. You're going to post in the group. You're going to invite all of them over with camping chairs. They're going to sit on your front porch. They're going to BYOB, bring their own booze or snacks or whatever you guys are into. And you're all going to sit on the front porch and you're going to meet your neighbors and you're going to make some friends and it's going to be great. And then you're going to be like, hi, I'm so glad you're here. Take this thieves cleaner. It's good for you. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay to be that weird, crunchy granola neighbor. It's fine. If they don't use it, they don't use it. But let's be honest, they always use it. Okay. These were teeny tiny thieves cleaner bottles. Very cheap, very cheap. They all got a hand sanitizer. I broke up some shower melts. I think there's a thieves lozenge in there somewhere. And then I gave them a gift card to my favorite local coffee shop that my friends own, because who doesn't love that? And this was the easiest excuse to go door to door and be like, hey, we're your neighbors. I'm really excited to be your neighbor. And if you ever need anything, here's my phone number, be my friend. So if you're wondering if you are too weird, you couldn't possibly be weirder than me. And I love friends, and I highly recommend making your neighbors your friends. So I'm going to shut up now because I tend to talk too much, and hopefully any of that served you. If it didn't, I'm sorry. But okay.
I love it. I thought you were amazing and you can be my neighbor. How about that? All right, so I'm up next and my topic is, I'm just gonna take all that kind of and smush it together, and we're gonna bring belief and growing online and growing in person and walk through what do you do when you have to dig in and life is hard, and how do you push through building in the summer to get to that spot. So I've oiled up, and my favorite oil kind of switches in the summer. Does anybody else find that they have like big seasonal mind shift changes with their oils? So I add orange to everything in the summer because it is my absolute favorite. So I've been going through a really rough time, and these ladies have been carrying me in a lot of ways and encouraging me. And so I hope that what I can give to you tonight comes back in about the same way. You know, we all made it through 2020, and 2020 was hard. I mean, I'm assuming you made it through because you are here. And then we got to 2021, and a lot of people went, ooh, it's going to be easier. And it maybe it's been a little different, but maybe not easier for all of us. And I think some of the things I have always taught, I'm a Young Living Diamond, have been a Young Living 8 years. And a lot of times I teach it like, how do you grow your business in the summer? Like people check out, they go to the cabin, the lake. Well, we're all in campers now because we can't fly or go where we usually go. So we're all in campers somewhere. And you know, how do you build in that when you're all checked out? The reality is that we kind of checked out in a lot of ways before we even got to this summer. And yet we're at a spot where we need to dig in. And that's always my passion in the summer. And one of the things I always have to do, I always have to tell people, I homeschool my kids. They never leave. But everybody else is like, my kids are home for the summer. How do I build? Now I'm like, y'all homeschooled last year. You're good. You're fine. We can get through this together. But I want you to think about a couple of things as we talk real quick here. Actually, I'm supposed to be done right now. So as we talk really, really quick here about ways that we can just kind of dig in and see where we're going and why it's important we dig in the summer. When we start looking at right now, the end of June, what you're doing, the actions that you're doing, the people that you're reaching out to and connecting with are going to be the people where you're going to be seeing fruit in the next 90 days. So I have a little garden in my house, and actually I have a really big garden, and so I'm planting all the seeds and I'm pulling the weeds right now. I feel like, hey, we're pulling some weeds, right? We're pulling the weeds and we're digging, and all of a sudden something ate my zucchini. What did I do? I went out there and replanted the zucchini. Does anybody else have to do some replanting in their gardens right now? I'm gonna tell you, if your beans get eaten or your corns, whatever it is, you're gonna be replanting it. That's all part of this digging in. And it's part of the seasons of Young Living. It's something that we expect, but we can grow in the summer in spite of the fact that we might want to go to the beach and check out. Here's just some quick ways. I'm really practical. We want to think about incorporating everything we do in the summer and sharing how that part is like in Young Living. So this weekend, I'll be sitting on the little lakefront in my camper, and I have camper people on the both sides of me. And you guys, guess what? They've never used Young Living. Although one time I was at a campground and somebody came up and they're like, "You're Amanda." And I was like, okay, well, you already got your thieves cleaner sample packs, but whatever. Like, you can do little door drops. You can be ready to like share your sunscreen or your purification or your citronella on a diffuser, whatever. I also spent a lot of time at the pool, and I've kind of become that old mom. I'm kind of the old mom in our little group of peeps. I love you. And I'm the old mom at the pool now. And so I'm sitting there and I'm handing out, I have a pool bag. Y'all have a pool bag. What do you keep in your pool bag? You keep your sunscreen samples. You got your afterburn spray. You got your lavender for boo-boos. I'm going to tell you, this kid went flying in front of me, and you know how kids aren't supposed to run in the pool? They did. Okay, so here I am. I said to mom, "Ooh, I got some of this lavender lip balm. Can we rub that on their boo-boo quick? It'll keep whatever." Keep going with all of what you do at the pool or the ball field or whatever. You're going to be using your oils, and you still get to share, but you get to share with more people and new people than ever before. I want to throw it to you that for some of you who have littles, this is the absolute best time to build your business, because you can find a kid in your neighborhood, a 12, 13, 14-year-old girl who will come help you with your little ones for a couple hours a day, a couple times a week, and free you up so you can build. And all of a sudden you've got people like your teachers who are super busy all school year, and they're now going to be, well, maybe they're doing their grad classes, but they have different schedules and you can meet them where they're at. When I'm in this tough season, and I've had a couple of really huge personal losses real quick in my life in the last couple of months, I just want to throw out to you that I'm using these oils for my grief and for my emotions and for the things like sleep. And when I'm focusing on that, I know that there are other people who are in my same situation right now, and they need oils for their grief or their emotions or their loss or whatever their stress is. Those are my target people right now. So when I think about this, I'm reaching out, and that's what I'm sharing about, is this is where I'm going through. Maybe these things will be helpful to you too. So fight your temptations to skip work. It is so easy to think you should check out for the summer because, you know, we think summer break, we think our businesses aren't going to grow. We have an amazing momentum right now because we have convention. We have this upcoming change that's literally coming, if you watch convention, imminently. We have people, you know, we're doing some relaunching your biz partner classes. We're doing all kinds of runner classes. You have more opportunity right now to build than ever before. One last tip. Thanks for letting me go a wee bit long, one thing I would challenge you with is, if you aren't happy in your business right now, and you've maybe checked out, which you're here on the call, you're watching the replay, you've at least got some buy-in. What could growing your Young Living business do for you and your family? What would it give you next summer? Do you want to have your camper paid for? Do you want a boat? Do you want to take a week and a half at Disneyland and stay right, well, or World, if you don't want to go, you know. Do you want to take a cruise? Do you want to be able to stay home for the summer with your kids instead of paying for daycare? When you just, that's one of the things that always helps me when I get kind of bogged down in the details. What can Young Living do practically that will change, that will help motivate me? Maybe you sit your kids down. We've done goal posters. What does it look like for 3 months from now when you're harvesting the fruit you're planting right now? Those checks that are coming October and November, what's that going to do for your family Christmas? Whose life is that going to change? If you aren't helping somebody get started right now, they don't have the opportunity to do that too. Okay, thanks for letting me go long. Love you guys. And I'm going to pass it right now to, I forgot, Lizzie? I meant to go look, I apologize.
Yes, no worries. All right. I'm so excited. This has just been so good. I feel like so many of us are like tying in to what everyone, like we've all just been saying the same thing, and I love it so much. So definitely, before I talk about, I'm going to be talking about expanding your network on Instagram. But before I do that, I want to just echo what Amanda was saying. The summer is a crazy season. Listen, Target, Walmart, all these companies, they all have months where they sell more and they sell less. And do they shut down? No, they don't. What do? They prepare and they keep going. So what you want to do is you want to keep sowing, because you are going to see, and you know, the fall is our like glory time, right? Like that's the time where we can see a lot of new members, big sales, like, you know, so that's what I'm saying. Like, keep going now. What you sow now, you will see in about 3 months time. And that is the same on social media as well. So let's just jump in. Okay, so my name is Lizzie Palacios. I'm a diamond living in Florida. And I, a year ago, was extremely frustrated with Instagram. I'm like, how are people enrolling 5 to 10 people on Instagram? And I'm sitting here and I have no clue. I'll like post a picture of my kids and sit and wait. And I'm like, they're so cute though. Like, and you know, I'm like doing all this stuff and I'm just thinking to myself, like, who does what? Like, what's going on, right? So I wanted to crack the Instagram code. Let me start my timer. I just done that now. I wanted to crack the Instagram code. And so for a whole year, guys, I basically worked on it, found out like, what does niche mean? A lot of people are like, that's probably the number one question I get now that I have grown on Instagram. What's my niche? And it's this whole thing and people get so caught up about it. But let me just break that down for you. Niche is literally a topic that you go talk about. It's a topic that you're passionate about. Pick one, start sharing about it, learn more about it. You don't have to be a massive expert. You could be someone that just knows like 1 or 2 things extra than anyone else, right? Or if all else fails, go on Instagram and talk to yourself a year ago or 3 years ago. Like, what do you want to tell you back then? Because then you probably want to attract people who are similar to you on Instagram. And that's a really, really, just a great starting point, is to think, teach someone what you know now. Like, what didn't you know 3 years ago in your parenting, in your marriage, in your business, in your health and wellness? Like, what didn't you know back then? What do you wish you could tell yourself back then? And create content around that to help that girl come to where you are now and attract that girl to Business Build, because you're a business builder and we want to be attracting business builders. Okay, so I love Instagram. If I were to set up a porch Prosecco party, my husband might cry because he's such an introvert. Not that you shouldn't do it. You should totally go ahead and do that. But for me, I love to be able to also build an Instagram. I built my business to Diamond without doing Instagram massively. I actually, on Instagram, I used it just for my warm market. And here's what you do. This is what I did. Using my rose ointment right now. And I would just literally make a story and then put it like out. This is the best lip balm ever. And if you guys haven't used this for lip balm, it is just so amazing. So I would just put that on Instagram, and then I would just go and use the hand soap, or I would go and make my laundry soap and I would just put it in stories and I would do it. And then I would share the recipe maybe to my feed. So that's when I kind of wasn't niched down. So a lot of people are like, what's my niche? How should I, like, what is it? And they get so caught up on it. Probably the majority of you are actually just still in your warm market. And if you're just increasing, like Kathleen was saying, going to the new gym, maybe you go to a church, maybe you go to different places like that. You're always expanding your network in person. And then what you want to do is you just want to take that online. So those people that you meet in person, you exchange like, hey, what's your Instagram? And if you kind of vibe with that person, let me give you an example. So growing on Instagram is actually very similar to growing in person. Very, very similar principles, completely different. You can do it in your pajamas, not dressed. And that's what I love about it. Like, you just don't have to get dressed to be able to go and talk to 1 billion active users on Instagram. But anyway, so like, say you're a mom. I'm a mom of 2. I go to the park and my son is 3, right? And he loves trucks and he loves cars. So say he finds another little boy and he wants to play with them. Okay. So the mom's standing there. So what do? You can either introvert yourself and be like, just pretend you're on your phone, right? But what I push myself to do, I am an extrovert, but I sometimes wonder if I'm not. But anyway, I go over to that mom and then I'll just kind of check it out. Like, is she giving me eye contact? Like, what's she doing? And say my son's like driving like a Blippi car. Like, those of you that have like boys, Blippi is this online character. Oh my gosh, she's obsessed with him. But anyway, he drives a little Blippi car around. And then maybe that mom goes, my son loves Blippi. Clink. So that's another. So what you want to do on Instagram, but also in person, is every time you have a Me Too moment, we call it, with someone, whether it's online or in person, it basically takes you a notch down on the connection scale. And what you're trying to do on Instagram is you are building connections with people, whether you have 600 followers, whether you have 20,000 followers, it doesn't matter. You can have 20,000 followers and have like crappy connections with people, right? So, and one of the big things I did this year was I grew from about 3,000 to about 17,000 followers on Instagram, all because I was just trying to crack this code. But what I found is it really wasn't just that. Like, of course, that acts like a funnel. So when you make reels, which if you're not making reels yet, just do it. It's fun. You don't have to dance, I promise. Just like go on and make some reels and make someone's day a little bit brighter. Make sure you do them in like sunlight. So if your window's here, like not dark. Like there are lots of different pointers. And if you go to my Instagram, I have a whole reels highlight that you can look at, but lots of different ways that you can make them simple. And that is going to attract more people to your account. But then you've got to have stuff there for them. And then you've got to connect with them to sell starter kits on Instagram. So one of the biggest things that I have done, there's a bunch of different things, but as I've wanted to create those like Me Too moments, those connections. So how do you do that? There's a number of ways. You can go on there and you can serve people. You can go on there. If you look at my Instagram, and all these girls do it amazingly well too, go on there and you will see like a lot of my content is not about me, it's for other people. And you're going to throw some stuff in there, and your stories are really the place though, where it's the behind the scenes, where you want to take people to, where you want to connect with people, where you want to show up as if you were going to a play date. Like, do you show up like, sometimes we show up like hot messes. Sometimes we show up and we've had a hard morning and we're going to be vulnerable with our friend we're meeting with. Sometimes you just need to, I don't know. So you're just going to show up online as if you're showing up in person. You want to be a real person. And so you want to create those me too moments. You want to be vulnerable when you want to be vulnerable. You don't have to spill your guts out all the time. But a big thing that when you want to increase that engagement, and when more people talk with you and you talk back, it's another like notch on the connection, whatever it is, ladder, right? Where people feel like they know you, and then you're kind of becoming friends with them. So you make like these Instagram friends in the same way that you make in-person friends. And there are people that you don't quite vibe with, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine, and that's so normal. But there are people that are like, have we been best friends forever? I remember when I first moved here to Florida, and my friend Victoria, I think she's on this call, but she literally came, like we just got on instantly. And some other friends that have become really good friends, it took a little bit longer to get to know, and that's the same on Instagram. So some ways that you can get on Instagram and you can serve other people and create those connections are, you want to go find people that are sharing similar things to you, like similar passions and connections. So maybe like for me, I am, our youngest was adopted. And so like I can go and find, it's really sweet. She's a foster mom, and they're adopting as well. But like I'm just having such a nice time talking to her as well. She's also a believer. Like we're just having such nice chats. She's not enrolled yet. I don't know if she's got Young Living, but I don't bring that up. I wait for that to come up because I'm in my stories. I'm being like, I need me some stress away right now because I'm a mom and I need that constantly. And so she sees that. And when you start to chat back to people, a big tip, guys, is go to people's stories and respond to them. Because people get on Instagram, they put a heck of a lot of effort into what they're sharing. And then if you just ignore it and you just post your stuff and you're not responding back, you're not leaving comments, not just like, oh, cute kid, but like actually connecting with people, that is how you are going to expand your network. That is how you're going to sell more, like start to get more people started with essential oils. And you've just got to show up fully knowing that this will help people. Like know your story, share your story. Don't show up as if like you think everyone knows what you're saying all the time. Like you've got to be clear about how people can get started with you. You have to do calls to actions, which are like, get this starter kit right now. Right now there's a sale in Europe and I've been talking about it today a whole bunch. And you want to be consistent the same way in person. If you've got a friend that is your really good friend and they're always canceling on you, or they're just not like, they're not showing up, or they're always just like, oh, I can't do this week. If you're that person on Instagram not showing up on your grid by posting, or not showing up in your stories, or not showing up talking to them, they're going to be like, is she trustworthy? And what you want to do on Instagram is build that like no trust factor. And you do that through your content, through talking to people, through bringing life to people and making them feel awesome about themselves, because that is one of my goals in life with anyone I get to know, is like, I want them to feel great about themselves, because that's just one of my beliefs. So be a good friend, be vulnerable, share your journey. Stories are for behind the scenes and stories are for selling. You don't need to direct message hundreds of people. Don't do that, because that's kind of like just barging into someone's house, like in their front door, without talking to them first. So build connection, and for sure, like take it to the DMs. When you're responding to something that they're talking about, or there's something in common, you just feel it out. Just know when you can do that. And so it's like a fine line. You don't want to do too much, you don't want to do too little, but just feel it out and just be sociable. Put the social back in social media. That's all I got.
Oh my gosh, who has a full notebook? That was so good, Lizzie, and everyone that went. I hope you guys got tons of notes. Like was this not amazing? This is amazing. Thank you guys. Okay. So we're going to take like 10 or 15 minutes to do a Q&A. I'm so happy that all of you are still here. And if you want to go ahead and drop your questions in the comments, we will just unmute anybody who wants to answer that was speaking tonight. Please just feel free. But we would love, now's a great opportunity to ask questions from these amazing women. What is a reel? Lizzie, you want to answer that?
Yes, so a reel is little videos that you can make on Instagram, up to 60 seconds now, but you don't want to go for 60 seconds. You want to make these little videos. And why a reel is so cool is that you get to show your personality, and people get to know you faster. And that's what you want on Instagram, is you want people to get to know you faster, so they like and trust you, and then they want to get oils with you and all the other things that you love. So a reel is a little video that you can make, and it's the best. They're really fun. You can just go on Instagram and there's like reels and you can search through them. Like I'll show you, hold on. Like at the bottom of my page right here, there's like the middle button, and click on that. And then there's going to be different reels popping up. And they're just really fun to watch.
I have a tip for Bobby.
The one from Bobby. Oh wait, Kathleen, do you want to go?
It's okay, you can go.
Okay. I love it. Okay. So she says it feels confusing to enroll, talk about the business when we were in this limbo stage. So first of all, like, I can't remember who said this, but any business, like every business has dips. The thing is, like, if you are looking towards the vision and you stick with truth, because I always have to go back to truth. I think it was Richard Blissbrook that says this. If you look at Young Living's track record and you see that we're a 26-year-old company that has done nothing but grow, even in our dips, we always come back up. So if we need to realize that this is just like an ebb and flow thing. This is just like a growing pain. We're $1 billion, almost $2 billion company. Like, this is normal. But I think because it's been so easy for the most part, for a lot of us that have been in it a long time, like, we kind of forget that. So I say, like, accept that there are challenges, and I call them growing pains, but look for the positive things that we do. Like, we can still be growing community and like all this amazing stuff. So like, I think that it's okay that it feels confusing to talk about it, but just know that like a lot of that stuff that we're feeling is like us as leaders, and the people that we're enrolling, like, they have no freaking clue. They just need their lavender to help their baby sleep. So focus on the one. Like, I always go back to when I get up in my head, like, if I didn't have Valor, I don't know if I would have overcome an unexpected C-section. Like, you heard Conmay's story of her child sleeping. Like, to me, that is, I would share whether I got a paycheck or not. Like, no discussion about that. So just know that we are going to be on an upswing again. And you guys, Lizzie just became diamond in like the hardest year ever. So focus on the stuff that will grow your business. Don't focus on the problems, because they're there. We can recognize them, but just don't stay stuck in them, because that will determine your business. That's that belief piece. Don't let it do that.
Also, if you're talking specifically about how to enroll based on, like, because we know things are going to shift and change and whatever, I would, exactly like Lisa was saying, don't overcomplicate it. If today someone wants to enroll, today they can enroll with a starter kit, enroll into the starter kit and move forward. Like, I would not be like, well, I'll just wait until things change. I'll just wait. Like, y'all are doing a disservice to your business. Use what you have today. What are the, not rules, but what are the rules today? How do you enroll someone today? Great, enroll them today. What about tomorrow? If things change tomorrow, enroll them differently tomorrow. Like, do not think too far ahead, because it's just gonna like put you in this place where you're like, I can't make any progress. And like, we don't want you to be stagnant. We want you to make like a ton of progress. So I would just take it as it comes, one day at a time, and just keep enrolling the people. And when things change, then you figure it out later, and we'll help you figure it out.
I also want to add that waiting for anything besides something that you can control in your own business and your life is only going to serve you poorly. Because I know that we all got kind of stuck in this, oh, the website's coming. Oh, it's coming now. Oh, it's coming now. Like, oh, but we're not supposed to, the starter kits are going to go away. People are saying the starter kits are going to go away. Okay. Work in your business in the now. Just like Kathleen said, like, if we are waiting for Young Living to provide us something like a different website or a new product or a new sale, we are then taking the control out of ourselves. And there is always going to be some weird, there's going to be shifts, there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, and we have to focus on what we can control. And that's how our businesses continue to grow or thrive, even when things get rocky or change.
Kathleen, we have a question about talking to people at their favorite regular places. What are some of your opening lines to get conversations started? I want to hear.
Ooh, guys. guys, this is my jam. Okay, so I am a sucker for coffee. Before I could afford, we were so poor when I started. Before I could afford to go to a coffee shop, I actually bought a $30 espresso machine off Amazon, and I invited every single one of my friends over, literally every day. Half of them are on this call, to have coffee with me and play. So then when I got to the coffee shop, because long story, when I got to always, if you can, choose a local coffee shop. If you can't, choose a Starbucks close to you. If you can choose a local shop, there are usually a lot of connections there, a lot. Like the owner usually knows other people in the shopping complex, who knows they hire baristas based on their family and friends. That is like literally a web of an entire community for you right there. But my very favorite thing, and I'm just using coffee as an example because that's where I go, is I always ask the barista, like, actually, what's your favorite drink? What do you think I would like? What's your favorite? What's the most popular? Like, you tell me what to order. And then if they tell you something that you're like, that is disgusting, don't be afraid to be like, I literally hate coconut. You gotta tell me something else. I'm sorry, but like, it's just not gonna work for me. But like, ask them questions about whatever situation you're in. If you're at the gym, it's like, okay, so like, what's the most busy time? What's the least busy time? And then like, what kind of class, like if you're going to like, what's the gym that Colette used to go to? It's like Burn boot camp. That's super common. That's like all over the place. Okay, so you go to Burn and you're like, hey, when are all the moms here? Because like, I'm gonna need to work out with some moms, because if I do too many jumping jacks, I will pee my pants. And I need the group to understand that and not judge me. Okay, great. So like, you just kind of have to like, I don't want to say put your weird in there, because I just really out myself all the time with how weird we are. But guys, just like, don't be afraid to like, don't be afraid to just like ask a lot of questions, even if they're weird. Just be weird. Okay. It's terrible advice. I'm sorry.
I thought it was awesome.
Ooh, yes. Colette loves to compliment people.
You guys, I was going to say another thing about like connecting with people, whether it's like in person or like a quick coffee shop thing. I actually signed up my Target like cashier. I was like, this is the universe telling me to like sign up whoever is in front of me, because I was like going through the cash register, and like literally 3 times in a row, like over the course of a month, I was in the same line with her, and she saw my oils the 3rd time and was like, oh my gosh, like you do oils? And I didn't even like say anything. I was just like, oh, clearly I look like someone who does oils. And so I was just like, I want to get her information. She seems super cool, but like, I'm about to check out and run. And I had listened to something from another leader, I think it was Bethany Shipley, and she said, just quickly get their social media. Like, even if you have all the time in the world, like make yourself not so available. Like, unless you legit have a half hour to sit down and talk or play with the kid or whatever. This like was so classic, because I literally did not have enough time, but I was like, she's like a perfect person to sign up. And like, I like her, she likes me, whatever. And so I just said, hey, like there's a whole line, but like, are you on Facebook or Instagram? And she was like, oh yeah, I'm on Facebook. Awesome. I just handed her my phone and I said, find yourself real quick. And she found herself, and I was like, awesome. So as I walked out of the line, I just quickly went to Messenger so that I wouldn't forget about it, and was like, hey, I was the oily chicken Target. Like, I'd love to connect with you more. And then like made an alarm in my phone for like 3 hours later. I think I did like the next day, like connect with her again, because I will forget, you guys, my connections if I do not put alarms in my phone. So I put alarms in my phone for everything. And so then I like voice texted her, or I think video texted her, because I get such a better response with that. And was, oh my, we can on one per, or like, you're welcome to come to my next class. Like, you want to learn everything, and keep conversation going and get their social media on, or get them. Just let any obstacles get in your way.
I was also just gonna say, like, I'm also a photographer, but I'm still friggin' taking sessions every second of my life. And when I do like families or newborns, mostly newborns, I will end the session by giving them a postpartum roller. And they usually follow me on Instagram anyway, because that's how they find me. So they already know, because they see when I'm talking about my stories. But the roller, I'll have a little message and it'll be like, hey, use this for your emotions. Like, things are crazy right now. Message me if you like have any questions or need anything. And I get so many enrollments just it's not like that. So you also have to be like patient with the process, but just knowing what people are going through and then kind of like whipping a sample or something up for them to let them know that you're thinking of them and that you want to help support them.
Mackenzie asked, they say a large following doesn't mean a large customer base. Do you feel your customer base grew more or quicker when your following grew? I think she asked this too when Lizzie was talking.
So basically what you want to ask yourself is, I think I said this. If I didn't, this is my mom brain not forgetting, but you want to ask yourself, like, are you in your warm market still, which the majority of you probably still will be. And we always are, but Instagram really is like a cold marketplace. So it's like and what I mean by that is warm market are people that you have something we call relationship equity with. So someone that knows you, trusts you, you would drop your kids off at their house, they would do the same, like that kind of thing. Like if you, like a family member you have high relationship equity with, your best friend, those are the people that if they haven't bought their oils with you yet, like you can be like, listen, you need to get your oils, like that. You can make those asks and you can say those things because you have that high level of relationship equity. But if you don't know someone, you just can't do that yet. You can't do that. You have to serve them, help them, make it all about them. If you haven't read the book How to Win Friends and Influence People, I highly recommend that one. It's so good. It's all about listening and all about like being a good friend first yourself. So to answer your question though, that's my little roundabout answer, but to answer your question, I would say it helped me grow my cold market and meet more people and turn them into a warm market. And I do this because Instagram is a funnel. And what that means is people come find you there and then you funnel them down into, and it gets warmer and warmer and warmer. And then you can sort of say more, do more bold asks, or you can like, they're going to trust you more. So have I been enrolling more? Yes, I have been. I've never been a high enroller, guys. Like I haven't been. And actually, at least like that was really good for me. I was like, oh yeah, I've always been like a 1 to 2 a month. And I got to diamond that way, guys. So like, I'm just telling you, it's all about how you pour into your leaders. And it's all about, can't even think of the word, but it's all about that. But now I'm a higher enroller, but that's because I've just been working my butt off on Instagram and showing up, serving the crap out of people and helping them. And when you do that, you build up relationship equity, not with just the person in front of you, but with like thousands of people on Instagram. So when you do that and you talk, how you write copy, Kristen Boss calls it, and you write things that's going to like cause people to emotively, they're going to respond to you in their feelings, and you share vulnerably on there, people are going to get to know you in a much larger scale. So people jump into my DMs already feeling like we're best friends, and I have never read their name before, and I've never seen that kind of thing happen. But once you get to build that up, I treat everyone as if I do know them. I'm like, oh yeah, definitely go have a look on their account. Oh yeah, I remember your kid. So like things like that. So yes, it did grow, but it only grew because I joined Kristen Boss's Academy. So you need to all join that. And listen, if you haven't heard her podcasts, you need to listen to them. They're free and they're incredible, but she teaches you how to be more of yourself, be more of who you are. And it's what Hillary was talking about. Be more of you. Like a good coach will help you be more of yourself, like every single time. So go out and do personal development. Like personal development is not an option in this business. It's a necessity. And if you haven't invested in coaching yet, which I only just did this year, so I'm not judging anyone, but you can get like audiobooks, you can listen to all the podcasts, you can do all of those things. When you grow, your business grows. If you're not growing, a business isn't going to be growing either. So, and it's so easy, just listen to a podcast or an audiobook every single day. That's what I do. But so not necessarily grows when your follow count grows, but yeah, personal development mixed with connecting and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it's like Lizzie's following grew, and that was happening while she was hitting diamond, and that's what people will see from the outside, but no one will see the insane year of personal development and growth that she had. And that's where the disconnect usually is, where people connect a large following with a large business when they don't understand what was going on behind the scenes that maybe created that large following in the first place. And that large following, yes, will then in turn help your business. But I put this in the chat too, that I've never been a huge enroller either. Like it's like 2 to 5 people. And I got to platinum that way in a relatively good amount of time. And no one in my team is a super high enroller either. But what it is it's just trickling down because your warm market could have so many hard workers and runners and motivated people that then enroll their warm market, and then their people do that, and their people do that, and their people do that. You don't need a bunch of unicorns. Like, you don't need that to be this like insane enroller that enrolls insane enrollers and that enrolls insane enrollers. Like, it's literally like, I remember someone saying, like, I think it was my RCD saying, like, everyone's always looking for the big fish. And if you're always looking for like one big fish is only going to be like one leg. Like, it's a lot of little fish that create a Young Living business. Like, talk to any diamond. Like, they don't have like 100 platinums and diamonds too. Like, it's a lot of stars and senior stars and a lot of people enrolling in their warm market. So it's really important not to use a large following or a small following as an excuse for your business working or not working.
Also, I do have to say that, it's really easy for us to say that, because I mean, even in just such a short time, a lot of us were able to see a tiny window of behind the scenes when Lizzie hit diamond, because we do have this like group kind of thing going. But that is why I always tell people, and I will say this until I'm blue in the face, like, you need to find some buddies like right now, y'all. You need to push each other, and you need to let people push you, because truly the best way you can personal develop is by having someone to keep you accountable to do it, and to be excited to do it, and to like share the things you learn with each other. You know what I mean? Because like, it's really cool when we listen to a podcast or read a book or do coaching or whatever. It's even cooler when I have a group of 10 women to go share what I've learned, have them be like, wait, tell me more. And then we're all bouncing ideas off of each other all night. You know what I mean? So like, yes, you can't talk to like 1,000, people every day, but like, don't be afraid to like kind of like put your feelers out there and find, I'm going to say this again, and like find the people that are kind of just as weird as you, and like do the things with them. Colette and I have hit every single rank literally within a month or two of each other. We have done everything together, and she is the first person I go to when I'm like, I'm not doing enough, I'm slacking and I'm being lazy, and I can't figure out what I'm missing, and you can probably figure it out because you know me, you know my business, you know my structure, and you know what my downfalls are. And she'll usually come back and be like, so like, when was the last time you like woke up early before your kids? And I'm like, never. Help me. Oh my gosh, I need to set an alarm tomorrow. She used to call me at 5 a.m. literally just to make sure I was awake. And I was like, oh, this is really terrible. But also, if I don't get up, she's gonna call me and yell at me. So like, sometimes you just like need your people to be like, hey, this is what you want, this is what I want. Great, let's do it together and share all the things we learn, and really just like run at the same pace,
So good. Okay, let's do one more question and then we can wrap it up. I don't know if do we miss any questions, or do we answer all of them?
Somebody asked Lizzie if she recommends funneling their Insta content to Facebook because she has more engagement on Facebook.
I don't now. It depends. So if you're a more market, and that means you're probably on Instagram, you're just posting pictures of your kids and things you're doing that day, and all of your audience love it because they're eating it up because they already like, know, trust you, then yes, to go ahead and share it across. But I would say at your grid posts, say like if you're going for the cold market approach and you're niching down, or picking a topic and talking about it, I don't really share them across now, because Facebook is very much your warm market and Instagram is to go and reach people that you don't know already. But definitely always share your stories that you're doing on Instagram to Facebook, because I'm always surprised. I go over there and I see people responding to my stories on there, because on my stories, it's like I'm talking as if everyone's my warm market on there. So No, they're very different markets, but definitely share your stories.
I love that, Lizzie. That was a great response, actually. I feel like Facebook too, like when you're putting more effort into one versus the other, then the other kind of takes a back seat. So when I started really putting my efforts into Instagram, Facebook started like my engagement there is kind of not what it used to be. So just be mindful of that too. Like kind of pick where you want to be and just commit to it.
You guys, this was so good. Thank you so much for everyone that contributed, for everyone that stayed on. We always say this, but we will be back with another class. I just don't know when, maybe next month, maybe in a few months, but I hope you found a ton of value. We're gonna get the recording up and it will be, we'll all have it. So whoever invited you here, you will be able to find it. So good night, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for everyone that contributed, and we will see you next time.